If you identify as female and if you're middle aged and like lately the sensations and the feelings inside of your body are like feeling different, you just don't feel the same as you felt before, well, you've come to the right place. If you think I'm talking about perimenopause, though, no, that's the wrong podcast. What I am talking about is everyone's like visceral reactions to the off campus series on Amazon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, a podcast about romance novels $5 and under. I am your host, Becky Feldman, here to get extra spicy with you as we discuss Off Campus, the TV adaptation of Elle Kennedy's popular college romance series. So when I first heard that Off Campus was being adapted, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to discuss this on TSTL. I love Elle Kennedy. She's one of my favorite authors. And then I was like, okay, well, if I'm discussing it on the show, it has to be with today's guest, who is Laura Yamin, the host of the What to Read Next podcast. Laura is just this treasure trove of knowledge, book recommendations, and just all around love and support for romance readers. We had such a great discussion about Off Campus and why we love it, and why romance readers of all ages are invested in the lives of these horny, good looking, and oddly mature college students. So please enjoy TSTL with a little extra spice, a review of Amazon's Off Campus. Laura, welcome back to this podcast, Too Stupid to Live.
I am so excited to be back. First of all, I forgot that we talked about this before because we've talked a couple of times. We've known each other for 6 years at this point.
Yeah.
It's because the pandemic was 6 years ago, which is so sad. It feels like yesterday and it feels like forever. And so I forgot we talked about MLMs, we talked about orcs, we've talked about like all things, but coming back to the off campus, when you asked me, you're like, I need you to come and share your thoughts. I love off campus.
Right. Because, like, I remember, because I did re listen to our episode when you came on to discuss the score, and you were saying how, like, when you were like, it was like your journey, like, getting back into reading, and got the Elle Kennedy's Off Campus series,
Yeah.
and that was kind of the series that made you go, like, oh, romance.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes, because so I was a lifelong reader, but in the
Mhm.
2010s, I was a girl boss. I was living in New York City. I was in a healthy living. I was like girl boss, girl boss, girl boss. And therefore I was reading a lot of self-help, productivity, nonfiction, anything
Mhm.
that would just make money, make myself rich online, be the
Yeah,
money queen like Amanda Francis.
of
And I
course.
did sign for that course and she did scam me, but it is okay. It is
Amanda
okay.
Frances. That's bad.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
okay. I've lived through I've been scammed for many, many ways, but it is okay. So when I was getting out of that world, I discovered reading. I had a podcast and it was about a little bit still self-help. It was about say yes. It was like, tell me your yes moment. What did you say yes to? And I didn't want to focus on business. I wanted to focus on like hobbies and specific things, which is I guess my lifelong journey as someone who is like being high productive, eldest daughter is like, I need to have fun because I don't have
Right.
kids. I don't have a partner. I have no interest in getting a partner. I have no kids, no interest in getting kids or having kids. I don't even have pets. And so I
It's a
needed like
great
a fun,
life. It's such a great life.
great life. So I needed fun hobbies. And so
Mhm.
this girl came in and talked about reading. And I was like, adult reading. And I was like, this is great. She talked about YA and like what was popular in 2016, but then she shared about YouTube and there were like book recommendations. And I was like, there's a book community of recommendations. Like, this is great. And I found this like YouTuber that that she no longer posts. She stopped posting it like a year after that. But she started doing new adult romance. And so she was sharing like the 2016 was the era of like new adult,
Yes.
like angsty love triangles, like problematic books. And so Elle Kennedy had just released, I think, The Score at the time. So we had like 3 books out. And so I remember reading the deal and I was like, wait, there's hockey, there's romance. This is like actually interesting. And I read the deal and then I quickly read The Score. Well, no, read The Mistake, loved The Mistake. And then I read The Score and I had to wait for the goal because and I was not an influencer or content creator. So I had to really wait and pay $3.99 because the books at the time were either 99 cents, $1.99 or $2.99 or $3.99. And I think I paid $3.99 because right now did you see the books are like
they're $10 now.
$5.99, $6.99. The books are getting expensive.
They are so expensive. They don't qualify for like because I was looking. I had purchased all of them and like looking at how much I paid for it.
These books are now $10.
Yes, the Kindle versions. Like these are digital versions.
Yeah. These books were like 99 cents, $1.99. I got the audiobook for $1.99.
Yeah.
As a word for saying.
I mean, not that it's in the same category, but I found like L. Kennedy books at like used places, like not off campus, but just like someone was just like giving them away at the Rip Bodice when they used to do used book swaps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she used to write military. Like, didn't she write like military ops, which was so good?
I loved them.
The Menage and they were so good. So this was her.
Yes.
This was her departure from military. She was doing hockey was still having its moment because hockey has always had its moment.
Hockey will never go anywhere.
Sport, and it's just easy to just have straight romances, you know. Rachel Reed has not, by the way, for listeners, Rachel Reed has not even like published Heated Rivalry by that point. So there was no Heated Rivalry because there's a lot of conversation how this is like taking Heated Rivalry. Like, no, Rachel Reed was like in 2020. I was the first person who interviewed Rachel Reed on a podcast, and that was 2020. So no, it was not there. This is like before hockey romance.
This was pre Heated Rivalry. This was like, and honestly, like it kind of was the first. I didn't realize like what new adult was until after like I read all of these books. And this was, I think I read these like 6 years ago when they had already been around for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And I was so put off by like, I don't care about college student, and people would be like, just read the deal. And I'm like, oh, fine. And I did. And I was like, whoa, this is good.
The reason why I read the deal and the reason why I ended up in new adult first is because 3 years before I left my career working with college students. So I work in a college from 2003 to 2013 for 10 years. I was the student activities person. So I helped, like I was a house mom in a Greek life. I was like, I oversaw like programming board to produce concerts. I was raising millennials. I was raising 18 to 22-year-olds because they thought they were adults and they're not adults. They have barely made a decision. The prefrontal lobe has not been formed. And I was the adult trying to help them, guide them too, like kind of like a teacher, but just more like a friend, like an adult.
Like you're David and no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I like college. It reminded me of that career because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was in this weird place. And so I started reading new adult, and I read like, I have to put the list, but I read all consistently new adult that some of them made it in the 2020 resurgence and some of them did not. But I read the Addicted series, which was another new adult series that was popular. I read, there was Linda Cage had like 10 books. It's the covers are horrible, but God, those books were so angsty. There was student professor romance. There were things like forbidden things that you shouldn't see. But I was consuming them. But the deal was the gateway. That was the book that opened up the door. And then I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, there's romance. Like that's what I actually like. And so I became a romance person.
So given that like the deal and off campus was basically your gateway, how did you feel when you found out that Amazon was going to adapt it into a TV series?
So Amazon, now that I think about it, and now in a lot of discourses, Amazon's the CW of TV shows.
Yes.
I also read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I have not watched the series because I'm still so mad about the ending of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I read that around that same time. So I was like, okay, it's really, they're building these shows. They had I really love, what was the other one? The Idea of You. They had the movie.
They had that movie. They had My Lady Jane, which I loved. My Lady Jane.
They had Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I actually loved. I remember requesting that. I did not watch the movie. So I'm like a weird person. Like I don't it's hard for me to watch consuming content after I became a reader, like a strong reader in that sense. So I actually was happy that Amazon picked it up because Amazon was more like book to movie adaptation. It made sense for them because they're the bookstore.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
Amazon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they started as a bookstore, and so it makes sense to use that as an IP. Then if it was a Netflix or a like another streamer and stuff,
Hmm.
but I like the fact that they're like one of the things I didn't like about the Amazon rollout was like it was too many episodes in once, and I was like, I wish they had taken the same notice for like the turn pretty and do a weekly drop.
Yeah.
But I was happy with the Amazon being the home for it, just because they were more invested in this kind of like content for the community. And I think they know that they're becoming the Gen Z of the CW for Gen Z, and I'm happy for
Yes.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And well, like what's interesting about like being the CW for Gen Z, because there is like that's also for like kind of Gen X and a little bit
Yeah,
millennials. Like
yeah,
because like I think something that like when the deal came out and when I saw this show, which was so surprising, is that like a, a, a women who I was not recommended the deal by anyone 29 and under. These
yeah.
are, mid 30s and above were like, read the deal. First of all, it's really dirt. They were like, it's really dirty. They do butt stuff. And then I read it and I'm like, well, that's okay. This isn't that dirty.
Yeah,
But
the
I
butt
think
stuff is the score. That's the one that you do the butt stuff. They
there's
do.
isn't there a finger up the butt in the deal or am I crazy?
Maybe I haven't. I listened. Actually, I did the deal. I listened to the deal episode. I haven't read. By the way, she updated the books, and I don't think she
Oh,
should have updated it. She updated for Gen Z,
okay.
which is God bless them, because they don't know about iPod. They don't know about Breaking Bad. They don't know about like the specific, but the audiobook hasn't been updated. So I've maintain my purity of only listen to the 2015 version of this book.
Good,
So,
good. That's
so
how that's what you should do. Well, like
yeah,
this was what was so surprising me is that like when we were talking about the score and when we were like talking about the deal, like we were like, isn't it weird that like it's like these college students yet their music cutoff date is 2007 before they were even born. They talk about dirty dancing and they have iPods and all this stuff. And I was like, I think that is what not there's the references that I think like kind of that made kind of Gen X and millennial readers like gravitate towards it. But I will also say the sexual journeys of all of the characters they go on, it's for like I think maybe our generations, I'm generalizing here, but we weren't really like no one told us about sex growing up. Like I'm
no,
still waiting, you know what I mean? Um
like
and
we were
so
not having conversations. I watched a scene where Dean tells Graham that he needs to trust, like having those big conversations about trust, about like actually like sexual assault and like how to overcome it, and like you gotta do it first. Like kids are eight. I don't know. Like they did not care about you. They did not care about the
no.
woman. It was very male focused, male gaze, male centric. It was not
Mhm.
female gaze. It was not female orgasms or anything like that.
No,
It was like
no.
hand jobs and blow jobs. Sorry if I say things,
Oh, no, no, you
but
say all of it,
it
yeah.
was about the men. It wasn't about the female experience. That didn't happen until later on,
So, like, yesterday. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not yesterday, but, like, I think with, like, something like The Deal is, like, okay, what a lot of the female characters go through, I think, again, generalizing, is something that I think maybe a lot of women, heterosexual women are going through in their 30s and 40s,
Yes.
discovering pleasure, and so to me I'm like reading it and I'm like college students aren't this way blah blah blah, but like it almost is like these books are giving us a chance to kind of relive our college experiences in a
Yes.
way, because like sex wasn't, I mean, like looking back, like it was, we were not having conversations like that. Trust wasn't we didn't think trust, we were just like, am I making him happy, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
now
And I
like
don't want
we're
to get
like,
pregnant. I don't want to get pregnant
exactly.
because we did get the best propaganda for teen pregnancy. We got Teen Moms. We got Jamie Lynn Spears getting
Yes.
pregnant, and MTV running with
Teen
it and
Mom.
saying 16 and pregnant and Teen Mom. And then and also True Life. True Life I probably have done a couple episodes. So we got enough propaganda to be like, do not get pregnant.
Yeah, or like just do not have sex. Like there was
Yeah.
nothing worse. Like at that time, I think we were all raised of like there's nothing worse than a woman having sex. And
Yes.
like
But the men were having sex. I don't know who they were having sex because
yeah. And it's like, and also like, and then there was also this thing of like, well, men have to have sex. So
yes.
it's like there was like this like double-edged like kind of hypocrisy there. And like, and so I think that's like what kind of was like so interesting about the deal is just it feels like, again, they're having these like very mature conversations about like for example, Allie in the score, she's in a sexual rut, and it's like that's what people in like their midlife go through. Like when I didn't even have sex yet when I was at her age, you know, and she's already going through a rut.
Yeah, I think it's like I obviously Alec is probably millennial Gen Xer, like she's probably like and probably wrote this, you know, in that age group of that mentality of it, where it's like
100%.
you've been distant from being a college student for at least 10 years or even 5 to 10 years, and you probably have a little bit of more experience. I don't know her age. I don't want to guess, but I think in some ways it gave you kind of like it's reliving college. I think it was really healing for me to look at college in a different way. I had a terrible like college experience. Like my friend group, like I had a Scamanda related drama that happened in my senior year of college. I liked this boy, and my friend group, one of the girls started dating him, and they forgot to tell me. They were in secret. They did a secret because they thought it was very, very like passionate, very dramatic. And on my graduation, they tell me like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dating this guy," and so I had to basically like I lost all my friend group because they all chose her. They chose the secret.
Right.
And I was like, so I needed like a different healing experience. Also, I had a lot of toxic friends because you just have unresolved mental illness. Like,
like I feel like college is a great time, but it's also the worst time. Like I feel like that's when like my mental health was at its worst. That's when I discovered that I have chronic pelvic pain. That's when I had the lowest self-esteem because you're just starting out being an adult. Like I obviously it's like a necessary like essential experience, but like it's also like not it's not sunshine and roses.
No,
it's
not. I mean? So I had a terrible experience. So I decided that I stunted my growth, and I was like, oh, let's just work at a college. And I literally relived my college experience for 10 years. Like I was actually living vicariously through like, I was involved in student government in my college, but now I get involved in the program board. Now I get involved in the sorority. Now I get involved in, you know, orientation and do the things I did not experience. And then I was doing them better. And at 2013, I had a therapist who was like, you need to quit this job. I was like, okay. I quit. I had no plan. I had no career. I was just girl bossing my way. I was like, I'll be a girl boss. I'll be my own boss. I failed miserably because I had unresolved mental illness. Like, you know? And so when I found these books, I found them to be like a combination of like healing back to myself. And at the same time, they connected me to a community that I just couldn't imagine being without it. Because in 2019, which I'll talk about this, there was a glitch in Instagram where you can have as many people as a group chat as possible. So these two book influencers at the time decided to do a deal buddy read. And they did this group chat, and it was return to the deal or something like that. And there were 100 of us who were all obsessed. And I was like, at the time, like not a lot of people wanted to talk about romance. It was a taboo. We were in the era where people were like, lit fiction, what smart reads, what are things? And like, romance, like, what are you doing with your life? When you talk about sex? And I was like, yes, that's what I want to talk about. So at that group chat, I became part, and I started making friends in the Bookstagram community. And I have friends that I still stay in touch. And funny enough, like I was reminded, I was like, this like the deal brought me to romance, but then it brought me to my friends, and then it brought me to like later on to be on other people's podcasts to talk about it. Like it has come full circle, and it's one of those books that has meaning beyond of just that initial reading and forget.
Absolutely. Oh my God. First of all, that brings like tears to my eyes because like I think it's actually has like a lot of meaning for me as well. Like we were talking about like you know I feel like just the scene especially that is seen in Amazon's off campus and in the deal of just seeing two people who are young like being unafraid to communicate about sex, and like I think like that really helped me to say like we weren't like, again, I think our generation like we were never taught that language, and I think like this book actually like kind of helped me out once I like kind of got back out dating again and was like, this is my issue, like I feel comfortable about it. This is what I want to do. I'm allowed to share my issues with sex. Like I'm allowed, like, and and I should be respected. And like there's a it gives it like I was like thinking about it, like I would love young girls to like see this show before they
Yeah.
go to college, because it's like you can have conversations and talk about like your boundaries, what works, what doesn't work, what you're nervous about, what you enjoy, you know. And it's like those are conversations that need to be had. And
Yeah.
like it was, and it like even at mid 30s it helped me kind of give me the words to communicate like what I needed in certain situations, you know?
Yeah, and it also talks about trauma because both of Graham and what's her name? Hannah.
Hannah. I always get Hannah and Allie confused, by the way, so I
Yeah.
might call her
So
Allie.
so
Mhm.
they both have their own trauma. Like Hannah
Mhm.
was sexually assaulted, and she shares the basic safety that we did not practice. And
Yeah.
I don't like, what kind of shit did we drink? What kind of jungle juice and all the stuff? Like, because men are the worst. Like,
Mhm.
we choose to bear. And then Graham, like, actually has come from a family of an abusive parent, and the
Mhm.
trauma that comes in and trying to be different from your parent. As someone who grew up in an abusive household, this was really telling. I was like, you can do things differently, but the trauma still lives in your body and it still contains, and like actually it spills over in other places. And I think it's very tactful on how they approach like situations that are going to bring the triggers, they're going to bring the stressors, and in a way that feels like diffuses. Like Graham saying, let's just watch Breaking Bad, like it's a very simple thing. Let's not focus on that. Let's just watch a show. Like, we're gonna get yourself comfortable. Like, Hannah makes it like a big deal, like she's gonna have sex, she's gonna have an orgasm. And he's like, let's diffuse that because you have a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
something, and the care that he has for it. Like he's not making them dismissive. He's not doing the space. He's like, he cares for her safety, her well-being. And I think
Mhm.
that's something nice to see, because I was like, I didn't, the vision I have for men, it was like, they don't fucking care because
Well, that's
they
how
don't.
we were taught. That's what we
Yeah.
were taught. Like going to a party in college, that was basically like you're writing your own death wish, you know? Like
Yeah.
if you take a cup and start drinking from it, like you're 50% chance you're drinking something. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and then it would be our fault for
It's all
drinking,
our
you know?
fault. It's
Yeah.
you dressed provocatively, or you were too sexy, or
Mhm.
you were too floozy. And it's like, but there's two in the wrong, and there's your part. And so I think in some ways it was like a different perspective, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Yeah. And I also think like back to the trauma of it all, like I really liked what she did, because like again, yes, this is a new adult series. This, unlike Heated Rivalry, like this is a cute rom-com, but these characters still have trauma, but it's not done in a way to like kind of exploit the very like serious real scenarios of what happened to them. But it also just shows them that like, I mean, he has this line of like, oh, I contain multitudes, you know what I mean? Or does he, is him, or
I
one of
think
them
so.
says that. And it's like, well, yeah, this show really does show that, like, you know, like people can go through really hard things but still have like their cute love story that has their happily ever after. And yeah, does their past come into play? Of course, but it doesn't like eclipse like kind of the cute love story of it, and it doesn't eclipse them as people, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah.
Yeah, I think I will tell you something. I grew up in a weird, toxic, abusive stuff, and my parents were toxic, and then my mom's relationship with my stepdad was toxic at the time. I've told them in person, so it's not shocking. And so they became healthier afterwards, but I didn't grow up with toxic with healthy relationships. So
Right.
reading romance was healing. Reading romance was like, wait, first of all, you deserve love. You deserve unconditional love. I didn't think I was lovable until I was like probably like 40, like, and I'm 45. Like, I didn't think I deserved love. I didn't think I deserved someone who cares, because I was told that I needed to look a certain way. I needed to be skinny, and I needed to be quiet. I couldn't speak up, and my trauma was not matter because there's trauma Olympics and I was always going to lose. And so I think romance was able to really shift the perspective and to give me examples of what healthy relationship looks like, and also improve my relationship with friends, because
Yeah.
obviously I had a Scamanda, I had an Amanda in my life, and now
Hmm.
I no longer accept that, you know? that's not acceptable anymore. I have really strong friendships in my life. I'm not lonely. I have like a place where I can go to. I have people in my life that care about me, and I can accept love. But I wouldn't be in that place if I hadn't read like 10 years worth of romance. And if the deal didn't start me with like you can be lovable with trauma with the big SA, and you're not broken and you're not defected, you're not damaged goods, and like someone's gonna care about you so much, and he's gonna be a rich hockey star, and you're gonna be a famous singer, then you should be fine.
Yeah. It really is just like I feel like just goes to show like how healing the genre is, and like even like what's really enjoyable is like I could go into like a Rip Bodice or another like romance bookstore, and I'll be like, you can like wait in line and you can start talking to anyone about books. And that's like the one place I feel like, even though I'm like, would never go to a book con, I'm like, too many people, but a bookstore, great. But it's like one of those things where it's like, it's very easy to kind of talk to people when you have that thing in common. And like, what you were saying, like I take our text chain very serious. Like it's like kind of like my like saving grace sometimes of like, well, like when all turns to shit, I know that we have our WhatsApp text chain, like the group is there, and it's like we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for romance novels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and fail podcast networks.
Well, sure, yes, that too. But
You
again,
know,
the podcast
like,
network, the failed podcast network wouldn't have thought, hey, maybe
no,
we could be an
it
unfailed
will-
podcast network
yeah.
without romance.
Yes, yes. I think in like in some ways, I am grateful for the romance community that it brought me, and the friendships like yours, like people like I feel connected. I feel like I can just be like honest and be like, okay, this is what I'm struggling with, and this is like,
Mhm.
and at the same time, I feel care, I feel loved, I feel like accepted. I feel like I can vent on someone, and it's like, and it's safe and secure and like not in a place. And I think because we read romance, we have the quality of that kind of like conversation. Because we
Yes.
read romance, we actually understand what is healthy looks like, and we understand the red flags. And yes, we accept the red flags in romance. We may not
Mhm.
accept them in real life, but we can accept those red flags, and we
Right.
might be here for it in that space. And that's a
Yeah.
safe place to explore those red flags.
100%. Because I think like it's probably not necessarily about the red flags for me. It's about like the structure and like kind of the emotional stakes of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the exact action I would never want to be done to me or do it to another it probably could be following someone home in your car. That's stalker behavior. Don't do that in real life. But in a romance novel, sure. But like it's the action behind it of just like these like kind of yearning feelings that I think like it kind of transcends like language in a way of like anyone you can talk with. If you read the same romance novel as someone else, you can have an hour-long conversation with them no matter who each of you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it just connects us with people, and it connects us with like a sense of like we're on the same journey.
Yes.
And we were like, and we may like different things, and we were like, yeah, this is like my toxic trait. I love this. I love Broadway. And so for me, my favorite book is A Mistake. For a lot of people, The Score is their favorite book, and they love the Dean's emotional arc and everything. But for me,
Yeah.
I love a good groveling. I love coming having a man, breaking down and groveling fully. Yes, and
Mhm.
make it full of themselves. Yes, give me that.
Yes. Yes. And I think like that's what's also kind of like mind-boggling is like the male characters in the off-campus series are like, again, like while the journeys of the female characters are giving us this chance to kind of relive our fun sexuality, it's like seeing these like male characters, like they are like it's kind of helping us like have the crushes that like because when
Yeah.
you have like a crush on someone, like I feel like I'm not gonna like out anyone, but like I've had crushes on people who turned out to be like terrible people and did terrible things, and I was just like, "Yeah, I love you," and so now it gives us this chance to have like crushes on like the dreamy guy in school, but like they're good people and they're not gonna like do
Yes.
terrible things. And again, like it's this reliving not that college was I had great times in college, but it just reliving a difficult period of the beginning of our adulthoods.
Yeah, I think it's just, and I honestly, it's just a weird like going to college in as a millennial, it's a different experience for Gen Z. I don't know what Gen Z experienced because they obviously had the COVID in
Right.
online school and everything, and they have online school regularly and all those different things, and everything's online, Reddit, whatever it is. But for me, college was this weird place of like this kind of like grounding spot because I left Puerto Rico and I went to Syracuse, which is the complete opposite of
That's
Puerto
cold.
Rico.
Yeah.
It is cold. It's gray for most of the year. It snows like a fuck ton. And I'm like, and here I am. And I was told by my dad that I will return back within 3 months. And I was like, no, fuck yeah, I'll prove you wrong. I'm going to stick around. So I knew I had to stick around. I knew transfer was not an option. I needed to stick around to this. And then trying to figure out, like, assimilate, because it was this weird place where like you have an accent, and I didn't want to. I wanted to blend it as much as possible. So losing my accent, trying to manage an untreated, mental illness, of like a suite of mental illness and stuff like that, and then trying to make sense of like, I thought I watched TV and this is what college looks like because I grew up watching Felicity. Like Felicity came like a year before, so I had like content that this is what college should look like. You go to college for a guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're supposed to meet your husband
RA
there.
is cute, and somehow your RA is gonna be so cute that you're gonna fall in love with it. My RA was not cute. None of that was cute.
You know who my RA was?
Who?
Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Are you serious?
She's my RA. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I had someone whose RA was Kerry Washington.
Oh my god. She was an RA. Now she'd be a good RA.
She was an RA. She was like, yeah, my RA was Kerry Washington. I was like, I did not have any other favorites in my RA. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a weird, like, college was just a weird experience. Like, and it's such a time capsule because you're not an adult. You have jobs, but you're not real jobs. You're fake jobs. And you have like things to do and you have responsibilities, but they're not really major responsibilities in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly.
Right? You have freedom. You have the freedom to do the fuck you want. You can go to party every weekend. That's why millennials want partying like every night, because we're used to partying and studying and doing all the things. And like our 10-match untreated ADHD, we're just like doing it.
Oh my god, 100%. And like I feel like with college, like it gave you a chance. Like if I wanted to like put on a drunk Shakespeare show in Los Angeles as an adult, like I would have to talk to permits and vendors and get this and get that and like do this and market. And college, they're basically they give you the opportunity.
You money. I was in charge of like, so I had a budget of like $300,000 for my college students to do a concert. So they'll do a concert for every homecoming. They have like a budget and they'll give me like the stars and they're like, we want this one, we want this one. And I was like, I can't afford half of these people, but we got a budget. So we'll get like some C-list hip hop artists and stuff like that. Funny enough, my last concert, I know he's problematic as fuck, but Kanye West showed up and I had to make the decision for him to perform for free. I was like, this was before.
Well, this was before. I mean, not that. But
this was 2013. He was just dating Kim at the time. Kim was not there. He came with John Legend and somebody else. It's on my Facebook memories. But he had to come on, and he's not that tall, by the way.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, so my boss at the time was very excited to see Kanye West. He's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, sir, we got to make a decision. We got to figure out security, like insurance and shit like that. I was an adult. And I had to be like, Kanye, we don't have money for you. We have no money. Do you want to perform? Are you okay? But you cannot sue us. But for the most part, my college students will go to the student government and say, hey, I want to do this dinner. I want to bring the speaker. I want to have this party. I want to have this banquet. And they'll do this. Or if they are not in the fraternity and sororities, they'll be like, hey, we're going to pull in money and we're going to get this kegs and we're going to have this theme party. And, they made up budgets. Like it's the life skill that they're learning how to budget shit. Like I live in New York, and New York, you can recycle cans. So we will basically store like cans upon cans of Canadian beer, because I was in by the Canadian border. So all these Canadian beer, and then we'll go for one day, we'll stop the traffic, and then we'll get like money for a keg from the cans. That's how many cans we got. That we got a
That's
keg,
like,
and
look at you, smart.
we gotta figure out. But you get
Yeah.
money to do the fun things, like
Exactly. It's like you do have like so much freedom. And like I was even thinking about like, okay, like Hannah's biggest issue in this series is that she has to write a pop song in order to save whatever.
so
And it's so funny, and it's like, and I understand how like it's, and I get it, because we've all been there, you know, like something that is so important to you, but like not realizing like how cool that is, because it's
Yeah.
like once she graduates and tries to get a job in the entertainment industry, like her biggest stressor is going to be getting her boss's coffee wrong for like the first 10 years of her life. So I'm kind of like, enjoy this problem, please, because
Yeah.
like who knows when you're going to get another chance to like, you know, like base everything on like a cool your own song that you're gonna write, you know, versus like
Yeah, like you're gonna be hustling around, and you're gonna be told that there's a million girls with the same job that you wanted, you know, and then you're gonna be broke because you're not gonna earn enough money to survive.
Yeah.
You'll have like 20 roommates, and this time around you also have to figure out business casual. Although I don't know, like Gen Z seem to not dress business casual, but I've seen the Revolve and the Get Ready With Me, but it's okay.
Right. I mean, their skincare is like out of control. Like they
need a skincare budget. I don't know, like it's expensive.
It's like insane. And I think the thing with college is like also like they're like you don't even grocery shop for yourself a lot of the time.
So it's like,
yeah, it's like, do you know how hard that like I mean, like you have to like remember to have food in your own fridge, let alone like remembering your dreams.
Somebody else cooking for you.
Right.
Maybe suck dorm food, but I'm like, it's somebody else's cooking for you. You don't have to think about that.
You do not have to like, you will never have the issue of like waking up and you're like, I don't have milk, you know, or like shit, I forgot to get milk. Like, can you just go downstairs?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting, like the level, the life that you get to have in college, and at least that's the experience that I had, and that's the experience you seem to have. That we had, you know, very well taken care of college life. We had an RA that we can go and ask for different things, and you know, and deal with like lockdowns and deal with that specific things and things broken down. Like somebody else will fix it and stuff. You know.
Yeah. Okay, so we brought up so much stuff just now, like about like kind of this incarnation of off campus. I want to ask you, I feel like the character of Dean is getting a lot of like online, like people are like loving that actor or something.
Yeah. Like the blonde. In my head, Dean was always a dark hair man, and Ali was blonde. And I knew on the books he's blonde, but I don't like him blonde. I don't care enough for blonde men. Like it's not. Yeah. So that's the one. That's the first thing. I was
yes. That actor did win me over, I will say. But at first, I was like, oh, not to be mean, but I'm kind of like, okay, this is like this guy's going out for young Chris Pratt roles, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just like, okay.
Yes, I actually appreciate like Dean. I appreciate the character arc now that we know that the character arc that Dean's gonna have. I appreciate the fact that he's, you know, yes, he sleeps around, yes, he does, but he does care about the women. He actually cares about making the women come. So I am here for it. He's an enlightened, you know, a self-aware man. He understands his privilege. He understands that he has money. He understands that he's a frat boy. He understands that he's like, you know, he's a happy go around and everything, and that he likes women and he just wants to make them happy and stuff.
He's just a respectful person. And I think like
consent. He was very big on consent,
big on consent. Yes. And I think there's something like this, like Elle Kennedy, like the off-campus series does, like especially like Elle Kennedy's books, is like kind of defies kind of these college stereotypes. Like like she becomes friends with the Puck Bunnies, and like, you know what I mean? And it's like she sees the humanity beneath the horny girls who want to fuck the hockey players, you know? And it's like they're actually like really cool. And it's like, yeah, like get to know, like if like dumb jocks, like they actually care about women and they enjoy making dinner for their friends, you know? And like
yes, I am glad that Don Tucker is not a Republican. A Republican Texan who had some some seed money to build his own business.
Right, because
That
he has
like
like a beard in the book, right? Doesn't he have like
has
a
a beard, and I
okay, not
thought
that
it
that
was
matters.
funny. In my because I lived in Texas around like during my college years, and I just imagine him to be like a Republican, gun loving Texas man
Like cowboy.
who happens to play hockey kind of deal. And I'm glad that I seem to be Latino, seems to have
Mhm.
long hair, seems to still have the reference of like he likes to cook, he likes to take care of things. He's still young. He's actually younger in this book, so
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that the casting was like better casting.
The casting was phenomenal. I loved like everyone, even the ones where it was like, oh boy, with John. Like what's so funny is that like when like reading that book, like hearing him like say like he's like, listen, darling. Hey,
Yes,
like, and I'm like, you're a 22-year-old little boy. Don't call women darling,
yeah,
and so I like him so much better in this, where he's
yes.
just like kind of just he's so cute. He's
He
so
is
cute.
so cute, and he's like cooking your stuff, and I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
And he like cares, you know what I mean? Like
He
I was
does.
like my college meals were like taking like buckets or like a bowl of like shredded cheese, and I'm like dinner, and he's like
He's like, oh, we got to do a balanced meal. We got to like actually have our protein, because these men are eating protein like it's their business, like a menopause woman eating protein, because
yes.
perimenopause, we have to eat protein.
We do,
Uh,
yeah. Like they know about like omega G or the
yes,
omegas and stuff, and I'm
and
like, I
they're
didn't know what that
even
was.
liquid IV. They were like, even the liquid IV situation, gotta drink the electrolytes,
Yeah.
gotta stay
Um
hydrated.
they also like had like it's interesting because like I feel like they also had like very like healthy relationships. Like I know that like Garrett's journey is like he's afraid he's going to start expressing himself like his father. Does he have like this kind of tendency towards like violent anger? But like it's like and I thought this in the book too, where I was like, but like you're having like very nice conversations with your friends, and you're able to like express your feelings very well in
That's how
all other
trauma
aspects of your
works.
life. Yeah,
That's how
yeah, I guess
trauma
that's
works,
true.
because I'll
Yeah.
tell you the fun story is, and you can keep this, but I grew up in a not so healthy lifestyle, and my dad was
Mm-hmm.
not involved in like not so healthy things, and my biggest fear was to end up in federal prison, like white collar
Mm.
crime, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been actually holding on to that fear up until very recently, until I went to EMJ, and I was like, oh, I have this fear
Mm-hmm.
of actually not doing the same things. Um, for the listeners, ironically, I work as an investigator. I am now an investigator for white collar crime.
She
So
just got promoted, everyone.
I just got
Congratulations. So
promoted.
if you're listening, everyone clap for Laura.
Yes, so I
Congratulations.
got promoted, but I actually work on fighting fraud and fighting the stuff. Even though my dad told me that that he doesn't approve my job. I was like, but I thought I was gonna be like him, because I grew up like, you just think that you're gonna be that way, and the reality is like, you can look at the facts, you can look at the rational mind, and it's just like, no, you're the complete opposite. You have done everything opposite from it. Um, but your mind thinks that way, and
Oh, I'm so glad you cleared that up for me, because I realized like yeah, like he also at the same time he has the same passion as his dad. So I wonder if that's like also like kind of a factor of like I
like
love hockey as much as my dad. I'm as good as my dad. Am I going to be
even
like
better.
him?
He's even better than his
Yeah.
dad.
Mhm.
Like it's
Mhm.
like it's a challenge. I think it's like in some ways is like you're just afraid that you're like, because you have so many things that are similar to it, that you're gonna be like him. Like you're like
Yeah.
it's inevitable. And the reality
Mhm.
is it's not. It's just like this is how trauma is, like fucked up thing that just like it distorts your brain, and you're like, what am I supposed to be thinking about?
Yeah.
Everything's
Mhm.
for like what is going on. Like Graham has PTSD. Like he definitely has that, that like he will get triggered for things, and he'll just actually act out on it because you think
Mhm.
you're in war.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Did we even talk about the two main actors yet who are playing Hannah and
No, we
Garrett?
should talk about them. I actually
Oh my
think
god.
they were casted perfectly. I
Me too.
Senna
Yeah.
looks the same way that I thought in book
Same.
form. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Hannah in person.
Exactly how I pictured her. Like kind of this like cute, like you think she's a cute girl next door, but she's also
Yeah.
horny as fuck, but also like
Yes.
really smart and caring. Yeah,
And
she
she's
was
a
great.
curvy, like she's not
Yep.
stick thin, she's has curves, like she's like happy with it. And she's comfortable in
Mm-hmm.
her body. I really
Yes.
like her. I like Graham. I like him. Actually, I think the actor was well casted. I think after watching at the beginning, I was like, I don't know about this. And then I watched the first few episodes. I was like, oh no, he is Graham. Like he really
Mm-hmm.
is. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, like I feel like online right now you're kind of seeing people share these like micro moments of like when he smiles and him pulling her close, and I feel like okay, like it's another one of those things of like I think he read the books. Like
They probably did. They probably
I
did
think
read
they
the
read
book.
the book.
I think they probably did, So
Mhm.
I hope so. I hope that
I
in
think I
order
did.
to become
Yeah.
a better actor, they really
Mhm.
read the source the canon
Because
material.
you know how there's like some like I mean like there's some or like kind of screen adaptations of books where it's like
No,
you guys didn't read the like and
no,
you know what, it doesn't fucking matter, but like
no. But
this I'm like I think he
I
read.
feel like this time around they probably read the books. I think they were excited. I love how who he was an asshole. The guy who plays Logan tells the girl who's gonna play Grace, that she got
Mhm.
the part, and he was like an asshole. He's like, I don't think you're gonna get it, blah blah. Blah. And then he's like, you got it.
Oh, that's
And I was
fun.
like, and she was like, you're such an asshole. And I was like, I appreciate it. I was like, okay, now I like this banter because I feel like this is actually gonna work.
Yes, they're like bringing it because like it's like I mean, like what we were talking about earlier about like how these books kind of helped us find community, whether it was giving us the language to express ourselves or finding our friends online, talking about these books with other people and being able to connect. And it's like when the actors like recognize like the kind of impact that like the books have on people, like it's like it kind of makes their performance, who knows,
I will
more honest.
Yeah, I hope with the success of Heated Rivalry and even the success of Off Campus, like when we think about book to movie adaptations, they're probably going to look at this as like the gold standard. And so there's probably, hopefully, on Hollywood, a way expectation to at least read the book.
Yes, yes,
Like,
because like in Heated Rivalry and in this, like I still heard Elle Kennedy's voice, like even though it wasn't her executive producing or directing, you still had her voice in it, and with Rachel Reed, you still had Rachel Reed's like kind of like sense of humor. I mean, and her voice in Heated Rivalry, and it's like
yeah,
kind of like really nice to start seeing like kind of I don't know whoever's making these movies and TV or making these TV shows like start to like trust the book, trust the source material, like it
yeah.
has a following for a reason.
Yeah. I think they're also honoring the fandom, although the
Hmm.
fandom can become very toxic.
That's true.
I haven't
Yeah.
dived into the off campus fandom, and I know that Heated Rivalry became very toxic.
We can't have
Still
nice
is.
things. Yeah.
We can have nice things, like we really like you just take it. But I think
Hmm.
honoring the fandom in some ways, at the same time thinking of like what's going to elevate the story, like the right casting, the right setting, the right clothes, the right specific cinematography, like
Exactly.
like the
Yeah.
music, like actually the playlist. I get like I know off campus playlists they have it on like on a order chronological
Hmm.
order, so you can actually listen to the music and stuff.
Hmm.
Like it's a whole experience because they
Didn't
want
Elle
you to
Kennedy
rewatch.
put out a playlist for it, or
I think so. I think she has playlists. I
because
think
like I
she
feel like she was one of the first authors who were like, "Here's the playlist." Like maybe.
yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Now it's like coming, but in the beginning it was like you gotta set the mood.
Yeah, we're like, oh, okay, multi visual, like multi
Multi-visual.
platform music. Like this
Yes.
is immersive, Elle Kennedy. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I was thinking actually like she has a couple books I really like. Serena Bowen actually has another series because Serena
Mhm.
Bowen and Helen Kennedy wrote
They wrote the
Him and
hymn series.
but
Yeah.
Serena Bowen actually has another college hockey series, by the way,
Okay.
which it's before the Brooklyn Bruiser series.
Oh, okay.
It came out around the same time, similar vibes, similar things. Kristen Callahan has a series, has a college hockey series, no, a college football series. And on the second book, they actually mentioned Graham and like they're watching the hockey show. So I really love like those contemporary authors. They actually like read each other's stuff and they were able
Hmm.
to kind of like do honor each other like and
I
have those Easter eggs. So like,
yes.
we're doing this and those are great series to like binge after the off-campus series. Although the off-campus series she has done a bunch of spin-offs and everything, but
They're already having kids. Like we're at the they're Yeah.
we're the next generation kids and multiple kids. And I'm like, oh.
And it's like, we're in the year 2075, I think. No, I don't know.
I know. We're in like a modern day, how they're approaching it is like contemporary time, but technically it's the future. Technically it's the future.
Technically it's the future with references from the past, and this is for people who are in their women in their 40s.
Yeah. So it's millennial references. You know, these are well cultured kids who have watched Dirty Dancing, who has watched Dawson's Creek, who has watched 16 Candles, Breakfast Club. They watch all the good movies that we grew up and watched, because this show actually has a lot of homage of rom-coms from the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, like like the good rom-coms, like the good teenage shows.
Yeah, like the stuff that like shaped us, you know, not like the stuff that shaped the stuff that's shaping people now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
well, you'll shape the next generation. You'll be like, oh my gosh. Then you go to source material. Then you go to some like Wonderful. Then you go see anything or Breakfast Club or 16 Candles, and you go like, you see like this is what we grew up with. This is what we need more.
Yes, that's why it's like it speaks our language. Do you want to play a game?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. All right. I made this game up last night. We'll see how good it works. But okay. So in the pilot to Heated Rivalry and the pilot to Off Campus, there is like a lot of like a sports host voiceover describing the character. So I have quotes from both Heated Rivalry and Off Campus describing the character. I will read you the quote of this sportscaster, and you need to guess if it's about Garrett from Off Campus, if it's about Ilya Rozanov from Heated Rivalry, if it's about Shane from Heated Rivalry, or is it an actual quote about the only hockey player I can think of off the top of my head, who is Wayne Gretzky?
Yes, I appreciate it, because I may not know Wayne Gretzky or any real hockey players, but I'm well familiar with the source materials of the other.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, here's number one. He has the ability and potential to be a generational player.
Oh, that's Garrett.
Yes. Oh my God, that was good. Okay, next. Oh, and if like they're saying if the quotes have the name, I put in name redacted. Okay.
That's okay.
Name redacted was so good, you could have a boy of your own who was a tremendous hockey player, and he'd get overlooked of what the redacted was doing.
I think it's a Heated Rivalry, maybe, because they're like connecting. It's either Ilya or what's his name? I forgot.
Shane.
I
forgot his name. Oh my God, I just forgot his name too. Jesus Christ.
This is perimenopause.
Yeah.
You got brain fog. Sorry.
This is a real problem, is that we can't even remember the protagonists of Heated Rivalry.
So it's one of those. I think maybe Shane and then Ilya is the other one, or it may be Wayne.
It is Wayne Gretzky. That is a Wayne Gretzky quote that I found off of Wikipedia.
Oh my gosh. Well, Wayne, you could have your own gay romance and gay Heated Rivalry.
I mean, he probably is like, should I get back in the game? Okay, this next one. He's a big kid with a big shot.
Maybe Shane?
That is an Ilya Rozanov.
Really?
Yeah. Ilya Rozanov. Big kid with a big shot. Unless I typed that wrong. Unless that's completely wrong. Okay, here's the next one. I think you might know this one. Okay. From everything we've seen and heard, he may not be the most sociable.
Oh, that's Shane.
Yeah, that's Shane. Okay. All right. Name redacted is a bigger player. I think he can play that mean physical game, but he needs to be consistent.
It's either Garrett or Ilya.
Garrett.
There we go.
There you go. Okay.
I was like, it must be Ilya. Like the other one, but I was like, it's Garrett. Like, you know.
Yeah. It's definitely Garrett. Okay. Here's the next one. Strong on the puck and a strong skater.
Wayne. Just kidding.
No, that's Ilya Rozanov.
I am losing at the Heated Rivalry. I am so sorry to Heated Rivalry fandom. I did not reread the books. I did not. I haven't
It's been a
been back
while.
to that world. I even finished, I hate to say this, but did not finish the long game because I was like, I didn't want to see Ilya depressed. And
That's it. It's tough to. It's
it was
triggering.
too tough. And I was like, no, we just gonna leave him perfectly in like the previous book and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. We'll say with the long game, the only like it is tough to read, but there's also him with puppies.
Yeah, I know.
It's cute. Okay,
he's my favorite, but I don't want to see him depressed. I get secondhand depression.
He does like go through it. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I feel like if like you're going through something like me, like I think there is a trigger warning on the book. I listened to the audiobook, but I'm imagining there were trigger warnings on it. That it kind of deals with like dark stuff. But yeah. Okay. This you're gonna know.
Okay.
And from everything we've heard, he really gets under players' skins.
That's Garrett. No, that's Ilya.
It's Ilya. Yeah. Okay. This is.
I just figured. I know all the things from Garrett. The one that I want to answer.
Okay. Here's the next one. He made his teammates full partners in the game. He made them skate to his level and pass and finish up to his level, or they would be embarrassed.
Is that Shane?
Nope.
Garrett? Ilya? Wayne?
Mm-mm. It's Wayne Gretzky.
Well, the fourth try was the right one.
You only get 4 tries. You see, here's the thing. You have 4 chances to get the answer right in my games, so don't worry about losing. Okay. This is the kid with the highest hockey IQ out there.
Is it Garrett?
Mm-mm.
Shane?
Yes, it's our boy Shane.
Okay.
My
first response, is it Garrett? just say everything Garrett.
Yeah. Again, you get 4 chances. You've won each one. You've got everyone right. Okay, here's the final one. Name redacted has the potential to have a bigger impact than name redacted ever had. That's
Garrett.
Right.
That's my boy.
You know your hockey quotes.
I'm officially a Garrett Graham. Gigi girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
we love Garrett.
You know, he did name his firstborn Gigi. He's
a dad.
Yes,
that's so.
He has 2 kids. They both have partners. I think the boy is boyfriend with Logan's daughter.
Oh, you're talking about in the books. Oh,
in the book. Yeah, no,
Gigi.
That kid, the real Garrett does not have. I don't know if he has kids. He's like
29 years old. I mean, that is like young. People still.
Yeah. I know people have kids young, but like at this point, people have kids of 40. Like, you know, we're in a prime age of geriatric pregnancy. That's when people have kids, you know?
And I'm not even ready for that. And it's like, I'm
never going to be ready. I am doing a countdown for menopause. So I would not be ready.
We'll never be ready. And and it's what's great because we can watch and read all these great books and TV shows. So
I don't know about the actor, but I know there was conversation about the actor's age gap, and I was like, okay, but it's like she's 19. Like, it's not the end of the world, you know?
And
and they're actors. Like, it's not like they're falling in love in real life. Like, you're expected to. I think there's the expectation of like they're like learn the lines that the actors are gonna be hooking up and doing this stuff because we've watched enough Hollywood like tabloids, but like they may not. I think he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, and like I imagine this couldn't have been done. I mean, obviously there was an intimacy coordinator. Like that, I don't think that this would have gotten by without one.
We expected intimacy coordinator in the 2020s. Maybe in the 1990s, nothing at all. This time there was everything was choreographed.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, not that I act all that often, but on the
you're an actor.
In the certain times that I do, like it. When like people will are so nervous about like I was in this one show where there was just one actor just needed to jump over a box. That was it, jumping over a box, which it was a shallow jump. Didn't need like anyone could do it. You didn't have to be in this great shape, but the company still had a stunt person do that jump for security reasons. And like, so if they're going to have that level of security for actors, then like clearly like this
That's why you have unions.
Amazon did.
That's why
Like
we have
Amazon.
unions,
Yes,
we got SAG for that reason. Not just
exactly.
for it's just to protect you. Again,
Yes.
I've become a socialist in my 40s too, and I'm
Hmm.
like pro union, pro
Yes.
tax billionaires, stuff like that. So obviously
Hmm.
you're gonna be protected. Like
Hmm.
these are not like free for all like experimental thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so I assume everything was choreographed, everything was like put to the book, and they don't
Yeah.
want liability.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like granted, like in the TV series, like kind of the amazing sex that they have is done. I mean, you have like the first time, which is a very moving, very
Yeah,
affecting moment. But then like once they're together, it is just a montage, which is
yeah,
fine, versus in the book where we're just like, oh, we're seeing each moment and they're
right,
growing each moment, but it's like we know, it's hard to do that like in a TV show, I can understand that, especially with
yeah,
one like off campus where it has way more story than I think maybe Heated Rivalry does, where that's more about it's a lot about the tension
yeah.
versus this where it's about like,
Well,
oh, like,
Peter
can these two
Rivalry
pull
is
it off?
two people. They're isolated. They're
Mm-hmm.
truly isolated out of the relation with two partners. Well, off campus, we got the side group, we got the siblings, we got the friends, we got the people, we got the
Mm-hmm.
random people and stuff. We got Bo's story, which we're not going to talk about that, but you can listen to the 4 episode and then you hear what happens to Bo. That's why
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have a book. You can listen to that episode. So link it
Okay.
out.
I will.
But gotta promote. We gotta promote our own
I know.
content.
Yeah, we really do. You're absolutely right. Yeah, we got to get on
But
it. Yeah.
we have all these stories. We have like Dean in the frat house and John Tucker pledging to
Mm-hmm.
being a frat. Like
It's
we got
it,
all the college.
yeah, it's a like honestly, like while it does have feature hockey regularly, and while the books do as well, like it is very much a college comedy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like that's what it is. It just happens to have hockey versus like Heated Rivalry, where like that's hockey.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But good news, JLo watched the show and she loves it.
good,
'Cause she got
good.
she got tagged on Allie's and JLo, Allie's and Dean's dance, and she's like, "I love
That
the
is
show."
amazing.
They look just like us.
That is so amazing. I loved everything about that because it was like, where did she get the dress? She wasn't even born when Jennifer
She
Lopez
was
wore
not
that
even
dress.
bored. She did
Yeah.
not. She was not even thought about it that she was
Yeah.
gonna be there.
And then she was with sad Ben Affleck, where that was post Bennifer. Like
Yeah.
the timeline in Off Campus is so off, and it doesn't matter.
I love that it is, and for millennials, it is such a good homage for us.
Yes.
Like it is
Mm-hmm.
just going back to the culture. It's educating the youth of like
Mm-hmm.
what the culture looks like.
Exactly. Yeah. Of like this is what shaped us, and I think the younger generations are going to be better off for it.
Yes, even the music, like
Yeah.
the music is like it's our music. There's not new stuff. So
I think like the newest songs that they played was like 2019, and that was like the cutoff date. Like I don't think. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know anything about music, but
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they did Cherry Pie. Like they did like 80 songs and things that we listen
yeah,
to.
like he's like that's like for them grandparent songs.
Yeah, this
You
is
know what I
oldies.
mean?
This is like the oldies section.
This is
which-
like they're listening to Mozart. You know what I mean?
Like this is where we grew up in the oldie station where we're
Yeah.
growing up. Like
We're just like it's like Gregorian chant music practically.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get your final thoughts on like the show and a rating. So for the rating, I'm thinking, okay, people do shots off of Dean De Laurentiis's stomach, rock hard abs stomach at the party. One shot off of Dean's stomach means you didn't like it. 5 out of 5 shots off of Dean De Laurentiis's rock hard abs stomach means you loved it. What did you think of the show?
I think 6 shots. I think we're
Heck
gonna go
yeah.
blackout drunk. We're gonna like have 4 locos. We're gonna have the shots. We're gonna chase it with a beer, like
Mhm.
a Canadian beer. because I gotta
Yes.
go back to my roots.
Of course.
Choo
And
choo.
Elle Kennedy's Canadian, right? Isn't she?
Yeah, some
Okay, yeah.
Levats, some Levats and stuff like that. Some Amstel Bright, like we'll do some Canadian
Mm-hmm.
beer, and then we'll get Four Locos, on the
Great.
side,
Yeah.
or Red Bull and vodka. Sorry, Red Bull and vodka. You know,
Perfect. Yeah. Zimas, maybe? Who knows?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Let's go back to a keg and a jungle juice that we have
Oh,
no fucking idea what it was made of.
exactly. And that is where I'm at too. I thought it was just like a joy to watch. Obviously I was like nervous with like heated rivalry and whatever. But like I'm glad the book exists. It's helped me out a lot, and I'm glad that this new incarnation of it can exist for viewers who you maybe aren't readers. They can
Yes.
experience the joy of off campus for themselves.
Yes, and I hope that Amazon stop being greedy and put the books on Kindle Unlimited so that people read them, because $10 in this economy, it's too expensive.
It's too expensive. And at the same time, though, pay your authors, stop
Yes.
messing. Yeah, just be better, Amazon. You
Just
make
be
good
better.
TV shows.
Just be better. Like, do something. Like, but this is getting to the point that it's like outrageous. So,
Agreed. Okay, Laura, tell us where we can find you. Tell us about the pod, your Substack. Tell us everything.
So I'm whattreenextblog.com. You can find me, all the links there. But I am at What Tree Next Podcast. I share podcasts like a couple times a week. They're video now. So I do interview some authors. I do some listicle episodes, like recommendations. But mostly if you want to find library tips as well as more book recommendations, go to Substack, What Tree Next Podcast. Substack.com. I definitely share all the tricks on how to maximize your Libby. I know we're cheap right now. We got to use the library. So, how to get multiple library cards, how to safeguard your Libby, how to actually request your library to buy the books for you. Because I guess we're cheap. Like we need to get free books. We need access to free books illegally, not pirates. So libraries are the best place. So I do library tips pretty much like every other week, and then I do share some video podcasts and some book recommendations. My latest episode is an old episode, but I'm bringing it back. It's books like Summer House, so old Hamptons and stuff, because I know Becky and I were both Bravo aficionados, and so I figure it is a time to do that. But
we're at a pivotal point in cultural history right now. Like my brain has never been more activated off campus Summer House in the city. Yeah, I'm so busy right now.
So I'll likely do books like off campus. I may do read like 2016 books, so you can read what we were reading into off campus, but I'll do like a book like off campus, like other books that are related to it too. So more to come. But yeah, I'm having fun at Substack, so you can find me there.
Yay! Well, Laura, thank you so much for returning to the show. Obviously it's always a joy to talk to you, but it's also a joy to talk to you and record it for other people to listen to as well.
I love it. Thank you.
Hey, Substack subscribers. Wasn't that a fun chat with Laura? I was feeling on top of the world after we finished recording. Like, I just thought we were going to have a discussion about a TV show, but I'm so glad that the recording became this really nice chat about friendship and pride and millennial culture, and just, it reinvigorated my love of romance novels. Not that my love of romance needed to be reinvigorated. It's invigorated all the time. Ask any romance novel, if they were personified beings. But there is something that I do want to clear up. I know my chat with Laura made it seem like I don't know anything about hockey, but look, I just want to let you know I was just being silly. I know hockey stuff. I know the terms. I know stick handling means how well hockey players jerk each other off, and I know that assist means that the steamy scenes with the hockey players are going to include sex toys, and I know that in the world of hockey, penalty box means sex dungeon. I'm not an idiot. Now that Off Campus is out, what has been pleasantly surprising to me is the lack of comparison the show has been getting with Heated Rivalry, at least from my viewpoint, which is very subjective because all I pay attention to is romance stuff. So I'm curious if any of you out there have been asked, what show is better, Off Campus or Heated Rivalry? And how do you respond? Because for me, as a stereotypical heated rivalry fan, and now a stereotypical off campus fan, there is no need to compare the two shows. Like, comparing things, that is what children do. I'm a woman in my 40s. I don't need things to be a juvenile competition, especially when it comes to my twisted parasocial relationships with fictional hockey playing heartthrobs who I find both attractive and in need of a nurturing presence by a middle aged woman such as myself. I honestly think we need a term for this weird type of sexual attraction. Like I think is like motherly lust. Like, is motherly lust a thing? Am I gross for wanting that to be a thing? Look, this is starting to feel wrong. But it's okay because I don't have kids. No one in my vicinity is like in danger. But I don't know. Maybe if you love the guys from Heated Rivalry and you love the guys from Off Campus, you should be proud of yourself. Because in your twisted sexual fantasies, there is room in your heart for every fictional, sexy hockey player to be both your son and your lover. I mean, isn't that the definition of teamwork? Like when I was watching Off Campus, and it's the scene where Garrett and Hannah are like gonna hook up for the first time. He's promising that he's going to give her an orgasm, and there's that moment where Hannah is undressing and Garrett turns away, and Hannah's like, you can look at me like we're pretending to date, like you could, look at me and watch me undress. And then Garrett's like, I'm only gonna look at you when you're ready for me to look at you. Like in my fantasy, Ilya Rozanov is sitting next to me on one side and he's whispering in my ear, wow, that Garrett, he's so sex positive. That's the horniest thing ever. And then sitting on the other side of me is Shane, and he whispers in my other ear, Mommy, you raised us well. And then they both take their shirts off, and I stare at their amazing bodies before the three of us head to the mall where I buy them new shoes. And I start getting overly emotional because my little sexy boy sons / lovers are just growing up so fast. I don't know what's more disturbing. The fact that my libido is like forgetting I don't want kids, or the fact that in my sexual fantasy, I am a single mother to a gaggle of hockey playing adult sons. And my proudest moments are when they're having sex with the people that they love, and that sometimes includes me. I don't know how much deeper I'm going to get. I think I should be concerned for myself. Please help. Guys, thank you so much for checking out Too Stupid to Live with a little extra spice today. I hope you have a timeless rest of your day.
Wow.